Let's talk about that in game actually a little bit. What are your thoughts, or I guess your assessment of TaeJa's play?
Well, as you guys can see, Moose Spellheim for the third time tonight. Let's introduce our players, and then I'll talk about that.
Sure.
Starting in the bottom right, hailed as one of, if not currently, the best StarCraft 2 player in the world. I definitely have him in my top 3, easily. It is TaeJa from Team Liquid. And over in the top left, we have also from Team Liquid, it is Sheth, his teammate, over on North America, living in Florida and training hard. Sheth also was in our show match for Heart of the Swarm, where he played against Letold. Unfortunately, Sheth lost, but hopefully we get to see more of Sheth also in the upcoming expansion. He was dominating Rotterdam in the 24-hour streamathon that we had, basically, where Rotterdam hit Sheth like 4 times in a row and just kept losing.
Poor guy. Yeah, Sheth is the kryptonite to
like
Rotterdam.
Yeah, Rotterdam was like, it was so funny because like Todd was like, all right, yeah, I'm like #1 GM in Heart of the Swarm. No, Sheth, I think I got a good chance against Sheth because, you know, it makes a pretty big difference, Wings of Liberty style from Heart of the Swarm. And Cam's like, yeah, did you practice your V Sheth though? We know your Berserk is good, but how's your PV Sheth?
Not good.
And then he's like, oh, I never thought about that. Just kidding. That conversation never really happened. Todd was really confident in the beginning, and I'm really happy he won. But Andre, we talked a little bit of, we said that we would talk about TaeJa's play style. I think that TaeJa is playing one of the best brands of StarCraft, even though he may not have the highest like raw skill, because I still think players like MVP still really belong in that conversation of best Terran in the world. But what are your thoughts of TaeJa? What are some weak points that Sheth can target and maybe even grab a win or 2 wins?
Okay, everything with TaeJa, where the majority of TaeJa relies around mid-game, focusing on the third base and when he goes to take that. And the reason why I say this is because he has 2 main styles. One style is where he gets a ridiculously fast third base when you just do not expect it. Actually, a great representation of that is Flash. You're going to see Flash in a lot of times do this certain type of style where he just puts so much pressure on your opponent that it's not necessarily that you don't have the material to kill like a hidden expansion. You don't have the APM to keep up. There's just too much stuff to do all around the map and then to worry about an expansion. So TaeJa's been known to be abusive like that. He's also been known to do the opposite side and go up to, you know, 7 barracks off of 2 bases.
And then expand.
And then expand. And why that's so powerful when you couple both of those styles together is that, you know, you're able to kind of put the shroud on your opponent. Deny all scouting, and then all of a sudden it's like, what am I doing? Am I getting a really fast third base, or am I doing all-in pressure? And he hides his all-in pressure really, really well to the point where he can consistently do a lot of damage. That's what makes him such a powerful player, and I think that's why I think TaeJa is going to have a really nice time against Sheth, who, for the most part, is a very passive player.
TaeJa, the recent winner of, I mean, come on, three premier tournaments in 3 months: DreamHack, Assembly, MLG, carrying his team in team leagues. It's spectacle to watch. I love watching TaeJa's play. His micro is awesome, just like you said. His multitasking is great, but I do think TaeJa does take a couple of calculated risks early on, and that's why there's sometimes that people can exploit. Like if you watch the game between Rain and TaeJa back in GSO, where TaeJa did lose, although he did advance, and I'm really happy that Hero and TaeJa advanced as a fan of Team Liquid. Just, you know, Rain was able to capitalize with shutting down TaeJa's aggression and making sure to limit TaeJa's ability to constantly get ahead, because it seems like TaeJa's always able to squeeze out his expansions and defend if need to.
Yeah.
Or squeeze out an expansion and put on non-stop aggression and deny your ability to expand.
Yeah, he seems like kind of like superhuman.
Honestly, yeah. Like TaeJa is able to really defy the odds. And Sheth is actually kind of another player that does that too. Sheth is a player that seems to make certain compositions work that you normally say like, okay, well, I'm going like Roach Baneling against like tank, Marine tank, and like I only have like this many Banes and Roaches, but somehow Sheth's able to get good engages and stuff like that. So I want to see Sheth able to utilize a little bit of that engagement magic as well, because he's really good with his micro.
TaeJa right away going to this third base over here. This is really, really annoying play. I know this as a Zerg. You basically put a bunker up, or you can even put an engineering bay up. but I think it's most likely going to be a bunker, and it really prohibits Sheth from taking a super fast third base until you actually prioritize getting units out. And look, Sheth is getting roaches.
Yeah.
So this might be a roach all in. This is going to really, actually, it absolutely is a roach. Nope, I take it back.
There's no baneling nest.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's
This is just Sheth's patented like aggression, but he never like commits to it fully. Although there's that baneling nest, so I'm completely wrong. I was just kidding about that last comment. Sheth is.
He does this though. He does have this build. For those, I guess this is a small mini plug, but one of our moderators of the channel, name is Sancho Panda, who did send us the awesome, lovely crocodile. He does a series called Teach Me the Build, and he had Sheth come onto the show, and Sheth taught him the 2-base Roach Bane all in. And it's really powerful, and it hits at a really awkward time for Terran because they're not able to really get their tech out. Like, it hits before, like, you know, Starport tech is established. You do have some Hellions which you can scout with it, which is what TaeJa's doing. But also, TaeJa's going for this tech while going for Banshees. And so this is an interesting, you know, like a mix-up here, because normally when you go for a Banshees, you want to dedicate all your gas early on so you can get Cloak. But in this case, TaeJa's getting Stim and Marauders and really trying to handle the Roaches. Sheth is going to catch TaeJa in a very awkward position. This is going to take a very, very good micro defense from TaeJa to hold this.
Yes, it is, but the Banshee is doing a little bit of damage here. And look at that, he's actually getting mass repair on that one bunker. The bunker's not going down. Froden, TaeJa's going to be able to hold. Are you kidding me?
Wow, oh my, like TaeJa let Sheth into his natural. That's a great spot. The Zerglings were able to, you know, help bust the ramp and weaken the supply depot, but he was not able to finish. TaeJa's managed to whittle down the Roach numbers like it was nothing.
I'm sorry, TaeJa just does not make sense to my mind.
This is,
this does not make sense to me, Frodo.
How did he hold that so easily? I mean, there's another wave of units, but the big punch is not just the Banelings and the Zerglings, but the Roaches that are able to really come with it. The Banshee also is able to really whittle down the Baneling numbers as well, so this is going to be completely ineffective. 3, maybe even 4 Banelings might die before even getting to the mineral line. Sheth does destroy the bunker, but TaeJa holds beautifully, and the supply counts are so in favor of Terran at a stage of the game where Zerg needs to be very healthy in their drone count.
Okay, so I want to mention a couple of things. First off, TaeJa's a sicko. Straight up. He's just an absolute sicko. Secondly, Sheth did that all-in so clever. A lot of players, when they do an all-in, they do it super efficient. They just try to get as many units out as possible. Sheth hit it so well. Normally when you see these creep tumors advancing so far forward, you're not saying, oh, they're all-inning from here, because why are you even getting additional queens if you're going to be all-inning?
Yeah,
so that's why.
Creep.
Exactly. Like, it's a lot of investment, it's a lot of time, and frankly, you could be investing that into getting more Roaches or even more Zerglings. So yes, Sheth could have had a more, I wouldn't even say refined, but like kind of like more units to his composition. But it was still masked, which was so cool. And you can see the effects of that. TaeJa wasn't ready.
No, he was not. He didn't have the wall up. His Hellions scouted in the middle of the map because he wasn't able to control because of creep. Sheth had 4 queens. TaeJa didn't scout any gas, so if anything, Sheth was trying to establish, you know, like a droned-up quick third and really defend and play really greedy. Instead, Sheth, just like you said, showed all the signs of playing a different style, and still TaeJa held with considerable amount of forces, and he didn't even lose that many workers. Sheth did kill 13, but the worker advantage is so far ahead of in TaeJa's favor, 52 to 38. That it may not matter. Timing at the third that Sheth is not ready to hold because he's too busy trying to maneuver his Zerglings for a potential counterattack.
Oh, and he's picking off some of the Banelings, but here's the big engagement right now, and TaeJa's just going to get on out of there. Look at the Banshees.
Nice.
Banshees are actually doing a lot of damage to the Banelings, and when that happens, he's actually just lifting all of his units into the main base. How in the world is Sheth going to defend against this? I have no clue.
There's a huge wall. The siege tanks are in position. Siege mode is done. And TaeJa's making his command center outside. A double drop in the main as well. Going to target a lot of drones. Sheth can't afford to lose any more of his economy.
No.
Zerglings are working onto the supply depot wall without the Baneling support. TaeJa has 2 tanks and none of them but to pop out. His 3rd command center is going to be started yet again. That's how confident he is. The walls come crashing down, but doesn't even matter. GG. TaeJa takes game number 1 with like the 6th sense of what makes him so good.
It's not even Sixth Sense, man. It's like voodoo magic. It's a little bit of the Force meets Star Trek's lasers. I don't know.
Yes, it is. It is that complicated, guys. Of
It's
what
that
goes
complicated.
on. Of what goes on. Combine every single sci-fi genre or like saga you can ever think of, and that is
the reason why I say that.
The epitome of TaeJa's brilliance.
It's WTF. How did you just do that so easily?
Yep.
How did you just get so far ahead when Sheth not only caught you off guard, but he got into a position where it felt like he couldn't lose.
Yeah.
Like he was going to do a lot of damage, and then somehow or another TaeJa just holds like it's no big deal.